closing, under braking, he's going to force his way and hits Lewis Hamilton!
Another electrifying chapter in the Verstappen-Hamilton rivalry. Did you see that? What madness. This 2024 Hungarian GP will go down in history, and not just because of the crash. We have a lot to discuss today. Let's dive deep into this controversial collision and analyze every detail. But hold on, there's much more to this story. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss any details of our F1 analyses. Now let's go back to that fateful corner and uncover what really happened between these two titans of the track. Let's revisit that scene. Verstappen coming from the outside, Hamilton holding his line. Contact. Max's car takes off like it has wings, and Lewis is struggling to maintain control. Unbelievable, right? You know what this reminded me of? 2017, folks. Remember that collision between them here in Hungary? It seems history is repeating itself, but this time the stakes were even higher. Max was desperate to recover positions after a questionable Red Bull strategy, and he ended up pushing too hard. Now, let's be honest. Lewis gave all the space he could. He was on his line, defending his position cleanly. Verstappen came in too hot, taking an unnecessary risk. And look at the result. He lost a bunch of positions and ended up in 5th, while Hamilton held on to 3rd place like a true champion. The post-race reactions? Tense, to say the least. Verstappen fuming over the radio, Red Bull trying to defend the indefensible, and Hamilton? Calm as always, knowing he was on the right side of history. It seems that Red Bull has finally shown that it's not infallible. And Max? Well, let's just say he was far from happy about it. Right from the start of the race, you could see something was off. The pace wasn't what we're used to seeing. Red Bull seemed lost with their strategy, and Verstappen kept complaining over the radio. It was pure frustration, folks. The team tried everything, changes in tire strategy, adjustments to the wing, but nothing seemed to work. And with each lap, you could feel Max's irritation growing. He questioned the team's decisions multiple times during the race. It's not every day we see Red Bull's harmony fall apart like this, is it? And then, to cap off this incredibly frustrating day, came that desperate attempt to overtake Hamilton. Verstappen flying through the air and plummeting down the standings. From potential podium to 5th place, that must have hurt. But you know what's even more interesting about all this? Seeing that even the seemingly perfect partnership between Verstappen and Red Bull can have its cracks. Is this just a bad day or the beginning of something bigger? And speaking of something bigger, have you thought about the impact this race could have on the championship? Because let me tell you, things got a lot more interesting after this Sunday. Guys, let's take a quick pause and think about this. After everything we've seen today, how does this rivalry between Verstappen and Hamilton stand? Will this incident heat things up even more between them in the upcoming races? And it doesn't stop there. Just imagine how this crazy race might have turned the championship battle upside down. We're seeing McLaren coming in strong, Red Bull showing some weaknesses. Can we still talk about clear favorites? Stay tuned because we're going to break all of this down right now. Let's see how the points shifted, who gained, who lost, and how this could change the game moving forward. But before we dive into this thrilling analysis, tell me in the comments, what did you think of this race? Do you agree that Verstappen pushed too hard in that overtake? And what about McLaren's strategy? Was it genius or did it almost go terribly wrong? Speaking of McLaren, did you see what happened? While Hamilton and Verstappen were starring in another chapter of their rivalry, a young Australian was making history. That's right, folks. Oscar Piastri, at just 23 years old, claimed his first victory in Formula One. Piastri became the 5th Australian to win a GP. And what a way to do it, huh? The guy was simply flawless all weekend. Pole position, perfect start, and a race pace that left everyone in awe. You could see the emotion in his eyes as he crossed the finish line. That shout of joy on the radio? Spine tingling. It's every driver's dream coming true right before our eyes. And the celebration on the podium? Pure, contagious joy. But folks, despite Piastri's incredible victory, not everything was smooth in the McLaren garage. In fact, the team's strategy during the race generated quite a bit of controversy, and that's where things get even more interesting. Imagine this. You're comfortably leading the race, Your teammate is right behind you, and it looks like it's going to be a perfect 1-2 finish, right? Wrong. McLaren decided to stir the pot. It all started when they called Norris into the pits first. That already raised some eyebrows, but things got really tense when after the pit stops, Norris found himself ahead of Piastri. You could feel the tension in the air, folks. And then comes the bombshell. The team orders Norris to let Piastri pass. Can you imagine Lando's frustration? You could hear it on the radio. The guy was furious, and rightfully so. He even suggested that the team should have called Piastri into the pits first. Total drama in the McLaren pits. Critics are saying that McLaren created a problem where there wasn't one. They had the 1-2 finish in the bag, but this decision almost threw it all away. Imagine if it had gone wrong? If Piastri couldn't overtake? It would have been a disaster. In the end, it all worked out for Piastri, but it left a bitter taste for Norris. And this raises an important question. How will the atmosphere within the team be moving forward? All right, folks, now that we've discussed all the controversial moments, let's talk numbers. Because believe me, this Hungarian GP has really shaken up the championship. Let's start with McLaren, which put on quite a show. With this incredible 1-2 finish, Piastri in first and Norris in second, the team made a huge leap in the constructors' standings. They're coming in strong, threatening the positions of Ferrari and Mercedes. Who would have thought, huh? McLaren is back in the game and with full force. Now, talking about the fight for the driver's title, things have heated up. Verstappen, even with that 5th place finish, still leads. But folks, his advantage has shrunk. And you know who's catching up? That's right, our guy Lewis Hamilton. With this 3rd place, he's closed the gap to the leader. And let's not forget about Piastri. With this victory, he's firmly in the mix. The kid has shown he has the potential to snag this championship, huh? Everyone's got their eyes on him now. What does this mean for the upcoming races? My friends, get ready for quite the battle. Red Bull will need to revisit their strategies, Mercedes is showing they still have plenty of fire left, and McLaren, well, they've proven they can surprise at any moment. Looking at the overall picture, this season is far from having a clear winner. Every race now is crucial, every point is golden. And this, my friends, is what makes Formula One so exciting. So what do you think? Are we going to see more surprises like this in the coming races? Who's your favorite to take the title this year? Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this analysis. Share it with that F1 fanatic friend of yours who loves a good discussion. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates and analysis of the upcoming races. The next GP promises to be just as thrilling as this one, and we'll be here to break down every detail. Until then, stay tuned because the championship is just heating up. Thanks everyone, and see you at the next race.